At least that idea.
Well, originally, in the purest form of this house, this fireplace would have been in this chimney stack. But since this is not a huge version of this for cooking house, they moved this fireplace to the gable end. And that way they didn't have to make this chimney stack 8 feet wide. You see, it would have just eaten the center of the house up. So, and it's also a concession to hot weather. In the north, that fireplace is always here. But in these hot summers in the south, this is a concession also to Anglo construction. And so they moved them to the gable end where they didn't heat the house up so bad.
Called Kentucky. How I long for the smell of the deep woods before they come in here and cut all the big timber. Wish there was some way that I could tell you how much I enjoy early in the fall when it was first starting to frost, and down here on the river paddling in the canoe, there's a little skim gathers up on your forehead that just makes you feel alive.
Friends, we're gathered here today to pay tribute to two patriots, Captain Isaac Ruddle and his wife Elizabeth Bowman Ruddle. It was their generation that bled and died that this great nation might exist. In their generation, the seeds of freedom were born. And through their hardship and sacrifice, the seeds began to sprout. Isaac married Elizabeth on Cedar Creek in Virginia. She was listed at Cedar Creek as early as 1737. In 1751, George Bowman built a large stone house, which was known as Fort Bowman or Harmony House. Isaac and Elizabeth were married there in the living room in front of the big white fireplace. In 1777, Isaac and Elizabeth moved south to Bodecourt County. His brother-in-law at the time was the military governor of the Kentucky Territory. Previous to this, Isaac and a relative had secured land grants in Kentucky. And shortly after, they traveled the wilderness road through Cumberland Gap and arrived in this area. Isaac rebuilt what was known as Hingston's Fort. Hingston's Fort had been abandoned because of Indian troubles, and was later become known as Ruddle's Fort. On June the 24th of 1780, which became a dismal day in the history of Kentucky, Captain Isaac Ruddle, Elizabeth, and their family were captured by Captain Henry Byrd and the British and Indians. And they were taken on a death march, a forced march of about 600 miles to Detroit. And Isaac came into this area and he helped to establish the village of Ruddle's Mills. He built several mills on the streams and conducted the mill business there. Isaac died here in Bourbon County, but in 1787 he deeded these 2 acres of land to the church for the purpose of building a meeting house and a cemetery. He is laid to rest here. Elizabeth died somewhere around 1815, and she was buried next to him in the cemetery. There were 8 children born to Isaac and Elizabeth. There was John, Isaac, George, Cornelius, Mary Margaret, Stephen A., Abraham, and Elizabeth. We dedicate this monument to the memory of Isaac Ruddle and Elizabeth Bowman Ruddle. And it is right that we do that.
This right here.
Oh, wow.
And it also has an inscription on the back. But I think it's in pretty good shape for that. And they were still building when the attack came. They had certain portions of the wall that needed to be completed. Shawnee, Kawas, Delawares, Wyandottes.